Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
One introduction. Winter is a cold and dark season for many people. The days are short and the nights are very long. Long ago, this time of year was even more difficult. Without modern heating or lights, homes were cold and dark. People worried if they had enough food to last until spring returned. The darkness made them feel tired and sad. They missed the warm sun and the bright days of summer. Everyone looked for a sign of hope, a sign that the cold season would soon be over. This was a feeling shared by many different cultures. During this dark time, people wanted to find hope and warmth. Fire was very important. Families gathered around a fire to stay warm and share stories. They also used candles to bring light into their dark rooms. Light was a powerful symbol. It represented life and the promise of a new beginning. People believed that by lighting fires and candles, they could help the sun return. This simple act gave them a feeling of strength during a difficult time. It was a way for communities to fight the darkness together and look forward to better days. Many old cultures watched the sun carefully. They noticed that in the middle of winter there is one day that is the shortest day of the year. This special day is called the winter solstice. After the winter solstice, the days slowly start to get longer. The sun stays in the sky for a little more time each day. For people long ago, this was a very important moment. It was a clear sign that winter was ending and spring was coming. This was a wonderful reason to have a celebration and feel happy about the future. These winter celebrations shared many similar ideas. People came together with their families and friends. They ate special food and shared big meals. This showed they had enough to survive the winter. Many cultures also decorated their homes. They used green plants like fir trees because these plants stayed green all year. The color green was a symbol of life. Giving gifts was another common tradition. A small gift was a sign of kindness and friendship. These actions helped people feel connected and hopeful during the coldest part of the year. This story explores how these old winter traditions grew and changed over time. We will look at the parties of ancient cultures and learn how new beliefs mixed with older customs. The holiday we know today as Christmas is a result of this long history. It is a mix of stories about faith, history, and family from many different places. Understanding where these traditions come from helps us see why they are still important. It is a story about the human need for light, hope, and community during the darkest time of the year. 2. Old winter parties. For many thousands of years, people have celebrated in the middle of winter. These celebrations existed long before the idea of Christmas. They were very important because winter was often a hard and dark season. The most special day was the winter solstice, which happens in late December. It is the shortest day of the year with the longest night. After this day, the sun starts to return. The days slowly become longer and brighter. This return of the sun gave people a powerful reason to be happy and to have big parties. They wanted to celebrate light and hope for the future. In ancient Rome, one of the biggest parties of the year was Saturnalia. It was a festival to honor the god Saturn. For a whole week, normal life completely stopped. All the schools, government offices, and shops were closed. People decorated their houses with green plants, and the streets were full of happy noise. The most interesting tradition was that social rules were turned upside down. For example, masters served big meals to their servants. Everyone wore colorful clothes instead of their normal ones. People played games, sang songs, and gave small gifts to their friends and family, like candles or small clay figures. It was a time of great fun and freedom for everyone in the city. In the cold lands of northern Europe, the Vikings and other groups had a famous festival called Yule. This celebration also started around the winter solstice. The central part of Yule was fire. Each family would bring a huge log into their home. This was the Yule log. They would light it, and the family would have a big party around the warm fire. They would feast on special food like pork and drink ale. A good feast was important because it meant they had enough food to survive the rest of the winter. The party continued for as long as the log burned, which was sometimes for up to 12 days. The fire was a symbol of warmth and life against the cold. These old winter parties in Rome and northern Europe were different, but they had similar ideas. They were all about bringing light into the darkest time of the year. Fire from candles or a large log was always very important. They were also about sharing food and happiness with the community. People came together to eat, drink, and forget about the cold weather outside. These traditions of gift-giving, feasting, and bringing light into the home were popular for centuries. They show a common human need to find joy and community during the long winter. 3. The story of Jesus. For Christians, Christmas is a very important religious holiday. It is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, who they believe is the Son of God. This special story is called the Nativity. The story begins with a young woman named Mary and her husband, Joseph. They had to travel to a town called Bethlehem. When they arrived, the town was very full of people. There were no rooms for them at the inn, so they had to find another place to sleep. They found shelter in a stable, a simple place where animals were kept. That night, Mary gave birth to her son, Jesus. Because there was no bed, she wrapped the baby in cloths and placed him in a manger, which is a box used to hold food for animals. The story of the Nativity also includes other people. In the fields near Bethlehem, some shepherds were watching their sheep at night. Suddenly, an angel appeared to them. The angel told them the good news about a new Savior being born. The shepherds were amazed and went to the stable to see the baby Jesus for themselves. Far away in the east, 3 wise men, also called the Magi, saw a new bright star in the sky. They knew this star was a special sign. They followed it for a long time until it stopped over the place where Jesus was. They brought valuable gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to honor the new king. Interestingly, the Bible, which is the Christian holy book, does not say the exact date when Jesus was born. For the first few hundred years, Christians did not have a special day to celebrate his birth. Many historians and scholars now think that Jesus was probably born in the spring. This is because the story mentions shepherds sleeping outside in the fields with their sheep. This was more common in the warmer weather of spring, not in the cold of winter. So, why is Christmas on December 25th? The choice of this date happened much later. In the 4th century, church leaders in Rome wanted to create an official holiday to celebrate the birth of Jesus. The leader of the church at that time, Pope Julius I, made the decision to choose December 25th. This was a very strategic choice. This date was already very important for many non-Christians. It was the time of the winter solstice and popular Roman festivals like Saturnalia, where people feasted and gave gifts. By placing the celebration of Jesus' birth at the same time as these older festivals, the church made it easier for people to become Christian. They did not have to give up their happy winter parties. Instead, they could continue their traditions but give them a new Christian meaning. The old parties for the return of the sun became a new party to celebrate the birth of the Son of God. This clever connection helped Christmas become one of the most important holidays in the world. 4. The first Santa. The character of Santa Claus is famous all over the world. Many children know him as a happy man in a red suit who brings presents, but this idea of Santa is not very old. The story of this famous gift giver began a very long time ago with a real person. He was not from the North Pole, and he did not have reindeer. The first Santa was a man named Nicholas. He lived in the 4th century in a city called Myra. Today, this city is part of the country of Turkey. Nicholas was a Christian bishop. A bishop is an important leader in the church. He was known for being very kind and generous. He came from a rich family, and he used his money to help people who were poor or in trouble. He often gave his gifts in secret because he did not want people to thank him. One of the most famous stories about Nicholas is about a poor man and his 3 daughters. The father was very sad because he had no money for his daughters to get married. In those days, this was a very serious problem. Nicholas heard about the family and wanted to help. One night, he went to their house secretly. He threw a bag of gold through an open window. He did this again for the 2nd daughter. For the 3rd daughter, he dropped a bag of gold down the chimney. The story says it landed in a stocking that was hanging by the fire to dry. Because of this secret gift, the daughters could get married and have happy lives. The story of Saint Nicholas and his secret gifts spread across Europe. In the Netherlands, he became a very popular figure called Sinterklaas. Every year, Dutch children celebrated Sinterklaas. He was an old, serious man with a white beard who wore the red robes of a bishop. He gave presents to good children. Later, many Dutch people moved to America. They brought their stories and traditions with them. When English-speaking people heard the name Sinterklaas, it sounded like Santa Claus. Over many years, the Dutch name changed into the American one. The character of Santa Claus changed too, but his name started with the kind bishop from Myra. 5. The special tree. Many Christmas traditions have long and interesting histories. The Christmas tree is one of the most famous symbols of the holiday season. But where did this idea come from? Why do people bring a green tree inside their house and decorate it with lights and ornaments? The story of the special Christmas tree begins many hundreds of years ago in Germany. For a very long time, people in Germany used evergreen trees in their winter celebrations. Evergreen trees are special because they stay green all year long. Other trees lose their leaves in the autumn and look empty during winter. But evergreens remained full of life. This made them a powerful symbol of hope during the coldest and darkest months. In the 16th century, some German Christians started to bring these green trees into their homes. At first, they decorated them with simple things like apples, nuts, and paper flowers. It was a local German tradition for many years. There is a popular story about a man named Martin Luther. He was an important religious leader in Germany in the 16th century. The story says that one clear winter night, he was walking home through a forest. He looked up at the sky and saw countless stars shining brightly through the branches of the evergreen trees. He thought it was a beautiful sight. When he arrived home, he wanted to show his family what he saw. He took a small fir tree and put it inside his house. Then he put small, lighted candles on its branches. The candles looked just like the beautiful stars he saw in the forest. For the next 300 years, the Christmas tree was mostly a German tradition. It was not common in other countries like England or America. This all changed in the 1840s. The Queen of England, Queen Victoria, married a German prince named Albert. Prince Albert loved the Christmas traditions from his home country, and he wanted to share them with his new family. He brought a large, decorated Christmas tree to the royal palace in England. In the year 1848, a popular London newspaper printed a picture of the royal family. The drawing showed Queen Victoria, Prince Albert, and their children standing happily around their beautiful Christmas tree. This picture was very important. People in England and America saw it and wanted to be like the fashionable royal family. Soon, families everywhere started to have their own Christmas trees. Because of one German prince and one famous picture, the special tree became a central part of Christmas for people around the world. 6. New ways to celebrate. In the 19th century, people started to celebrate Christmas in new ways. Many of the traditions we know today began during this time, especially in England. These new ideas changed how people thought about the holiday. They helped make Christmas a special time for family, friends, and helping others. One new idea was the Christmas card. In 1843, an English man named Henry Cole had a problem. He was very busy with his work, but he had many friends. He wanted to send them all a Christmas message, but he did not have time to write many long letters. He asked an artist to draw a picture of a family celebrating. He then printed 1,000 copies of this picture with a short message. He sent these cards to his friends. People loved the idea. Soon, many other people started sending Christmas cards. It was an easy way to say Merry Christmas to people who lived far away. Singing special songs called carols also became very popular. Singing at Christmas was an old tradition, but in the 19th century it became a public activity. People started to gather in streets and town squares to sing together. Groups of singers also went from house to house. They sang for their neighbors and shared the happy feeling of the holiday. Famous carols that we still sing today were written during this time. This music helped bring communities closer together during the cold winter. Perhaps the biggest change came from a famous writer. His name was Charles Dickens. In 1843, he wrote a short book called A Christmas Carol. The story is about a rich but unhappy man named Scrooge. Scrooge does not like Christmas and is not kind to anyone. But on Christmas Eve, ghosts visit him and show him his past, present, and future. He learns an important lesson. He changes and becomes a kind and generous person. The book was very successful. It gave people a new message for Christmas. It taught them that the holiday was a time for kindness, charity, and thinking about the poor. The story helped shape the modern idea of the Christmas spirit. 7. Santa in Red. The Santa Claus that people know today is a friendly man with a big white beard and a red suit, but he did not always look this way. His modern image was created over many years, mostly in America. The story of Santa changed from a real person into a magical character. In the 1800s, American writers and artists started to create a new picture of Santa Claus. Before this, people thought of him as a tall, thin bishop, but new poems and drawings showed him differently. They described him as a happy, round man with a big belly. He was cheerful and kind, and he visited children on Christmas Eve. This new idea of Santa became very popular in books and magazines. People started to forget the old image of Saint Nicholas. For a long time, Santa's clothes did not have a specific color. In some pictures, he wore green. In other pictures, he wore blue or brown. The red suit became famous in the 1930s. In 1931, a big company called Coca-Cola wanted to sell more drinks in the winter. They created advertisements with Santa Claus. An artist drew Santa as a large, happy man in a bright red suit with white fur. These pictures appeared everywhere. Soon, almost everyone imagined Santa Claus in a red and white suit. This image became the one we know today. New stories also added more magic to Santa. People said he lived at the North Pole with elves who made toys. They also said he traveled in a sleigh pulled by flying reindeer. In 1939, a new, very famous reindeer was created. A writer wrote a story about a reindeer named Rudolph. Rudolph had a very shiny red nose. The other reindeer laughed at him. But one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa needed help. Rudolph's bright nose helped Santa guide his sleigh through the dark. This story made Santa even more magical for children. All these changes made Santa Claus a central part of Christmas for families everywhere. 8. Christmas Now. Today, Christmas is a very big holiday around the world. Many countries celebrate it, even places where most people are not Christian. In these countries, it is often a public holiday, so schools and businesses close. For millions of people, December is the Christmas season. Cities put up beautiful lights and big trees in public squares. Shops play Christmas music and decorate their windows. It has become a global event that many people look forward to all year. The holiday is shared by many different cultures. Christmas now is a mix of old and new traditions. It combines religious and non-religious ideas. For Christians, the most important part is celebrating the birth of Jesus. Many people go to special church services on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. They sing religious songs and remember the nativity story. At the same time, many other people celebrate Christmas in a different way. Their celebration is not about religion. For them, it is a time for Santa Claus, giving presents and decorating a tree. These two sides of the holiday exist together. The modern holiday focuses a lot on family and friends. It is a time for people to come together. Many people travel long distances to be with their families. They share a special meal, like a big dinner with turkey or other traditional foods. Giving and receiving gifts is also a very important part of the celebration. This custom is a way to show love for others. Children wake up excited on Christmas morning to see what presents are under the tree. This focus on being together is a central part of the holiday. The holiday is also an important time for businesses. The weeks before Christmas are the busiest shopping season of the year. People spend a lot of money on gifts, food, and decorations. Stores have big sales to attract customers. The idea of giving gifts has grown over the last 100 years. While this part of Christmas is very commercial, it is connected to the old tradition of giving things to others during winter festivals. It is a modern version of an old idea. In the end, Christmas means different things to different people. It is a holy day for some and a fun holiday for others. But many people can share in its main ideas. The holiday brings feelings of peace, hope, and kindness. It encourages people to be generous and to think about others. From ancient winter parties to modern global celebrations, the holiday has always been about bringing light into the dark time of the year. It is a time to celebrate with the people we love.